All right, what's up? What's up, y'all? Thank y'all so much for joining to another episode of Reflect and Grow, where we reflect, we grow, and we laugh. I am your host, Von Michael. I am so happy to be here, man. I was about to say but somebody this week told me they listened to an episode and I said over 30 times. So this week we focusing on not saying So that's the goal. If I say we gonna get real mad, man. We gonna get real mad. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I gotta make up something like I gotta pay somebody $1 if I say so we gonna stop doing that. Um Dang, I just said again. Yo, see this? This is crazy. Um, I'm really excited though about this week. I'm really super excited. We got a dope topic to talk about. This week we're gonna be talking about perfectionism. I'm one of the biggest perfectionists in the building. I was born and raised a perfectionist, and it's just something that constantly got to be working on and stuff like that. So one thing that well, first of all, I want to thank everybody that came out this weekend to Delaware. We had such a dope show, man. Made some great fans, some collaborators, some supporters. They was good in Delaware. It was like a sold out show, 6 p.m. It was nothing but older people in there, and it was super exciting, man. It was one of the things where like I was just so said it's one of the things like I've been doing this with comedy for 10 years now, and it's just like dang, like I'm just so happy that seeing things that you prayed about 10 years ago come to happen. Close it out 45 minutes to an hour, and we're looking forward to it. This week I will be in Lebanon, Virginia, which is about, I think it's close to Tennessee. So if you in that area, Lebanon, Virginia, make sure you come check that out. We'll be there this Friday, May 15th. I think the show is 7th. Tickets still available. They said that I'm the first black headliner to ever come to that area. So let's see what it do, man. Um, so I'm super excited, man. So this week, man, one of the things I've been focused on is perfectionism. That's been like the goal, and it's something that I had to like really work on. Last week, if you were listening, we um, went over mental health stigmas, and we talked about foundations, like healthy foundations. And one of the things that I had to learn as an artist, or just as an adult in general, is building that healthy foundation. Because when I first started, comedy was really just about seeking validation, trying to get prove yourself to other people. And I remember I had a therapist at that time. She was telling me, she was like, Vaughn, you should practice some solitude. And I was like, what's that? And she was like, you sit in your room and like you just take like 30 minutes, no phone, no TV, no radio, no nothing, just silent, and do that. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that because I ain't trying to feel alone with my thoughts. Like this sounds scary. But I did it, and what I realized was, as I was doing like the solitude, you start to realize like you get real quiet inside. You start to um, see what you're feeling. Like a lot of times, I didn't realize like you'll be like uh, constantly. There's things that's underneath that you're not even realizing that you might be going through. Um, until you start doing solitude. So solitude just made me like more self-aware, I would say. And it made me realize that like, man, I was doing comedy for like a validation. Like I really just wanted to seek validation, and I was trying to do it for the applause. But once I started to become aware of that, it made me realize it's like, yo, I can't do this long term. Like long term wise, like you keep seeking that validation, you'll it's going to set you up for failure. So what are you going to do once you get the validation? So I had to really just kind of like rewire my purpose for doing comedy, and why I was doing all this stuff long term. And it was a really just a growth period that I had to go through. It was really it was hard because when you like chasing your career and trying to do stuff like that, you always feel like if you take a pause and you sit down for a second, that you're going to fall behind. It's like you're in a rat race, and you feel like that if you take your foot off the pedal, um, that everything is just going to happen. But what I've realized is taking your foot off the pedal is some of the best things you can do. Sometimes you really just need to sit down and breathe and just let life happen. And so it was like a year or two. And I've also found out that I became more productive when I was able to sit down for a little bit and just kind of like see how I was feeling, how I was, what I was going through and stuff like that. And it was changing, and it made me realize that I was doing a lot of stuff in general. When I realized, when you look at life through certain lens, you start to realize that that lens sometimes could be holding you back. So when you're looking at it through a validation lens, or you're trying to prove yourself to others, or you start to realize, like, man, like, you're doing this stuff for that, but you're not really building anything. What you're building is um, unhealthy, unstable. Because when those people take back their attention or validation or whatever, um, you got to go. So, purpose definitely changed. I need a purpose where that it can't just collapse at any time. And the biggest thing is just self awareness, is what I'm saying. Um, Anyways, y'all, I keep saying yo, I gotta stop saying I do have some special guests that's coming up today that I'm really excited to talk to. Let me see. I'm looking for Brenda. Brenda, are you in the chat? Brenda, if you're in the chat, go ahead and let's see. Okay, there we go. All right. So y'all, today we're gonna be talking about perfectionism. Good God, I gotta move my camera back. Let's see, 1 second. I got a big fat head. All right. So today our topic is perfectionism. I brought two of my funny friends and wise friends on today. Today, I have one of my funny friends. He's from Akron, Ohio, fellow comedian. Very, very funny guy. Oh, he got the camera on. Okay, got camera access. Matt Farkis, man, please say hello to the people that's watching and who gonna be watching this Thursday.
Hi. Hi, people watching this Thursday. I'm Matt from
I can't
Akron.
hear
Can you
you.
hear me? No? No.
Oh, I can hear you now.
There you go. There you go. Technical difficulty.
So Matt, yeah, introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, so I've been doing comedy for 19 years.
Hmm.
I've been a showrunner, so I produce. I coach the festival,
You vibrate
and
too.
I vibrate. Yeah, you put me in places, I'll get it done. Shut that. But no, from there, yeah, I've got to tour all over the U.S., parts of Europe, Canada, and I actually got to do some pretty good TV stuff when it comes down to broadcasting for a local area. So, yeah.
All right, dope. All right, this next person, I know their name on there says Teddy Roosevelt, but that's not their name. Our next person name actually is Brenda Joy. Brenda, can you please introduce yourself to the people?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt is my service dog. He has a TikTok account. I've been doing comedy for stand-up comedy for 3 years, and I find it a great way to talk about mental health as well. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been licensed for over 20 years now, and I'm also a veteran with PTSD.
Okay. You're a licensed therapist, right?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
licensed
We got to
to.
make sure we put that out there, because I don't know if you saw, like, there's these
Yeah.
people that are life coaches that are calling themselves therapists, and
Yeah.
we got to let people know the
I'm not
do.
licensed. I'm not.
All
People
right.
Not
talk to me like I am. I'm not.
Matt, you have a license though, right?
I have licenses for stuff.
Got
Yeah.
you. Okay. Well, I
I'll
appreciate
write you a script. It's not real, but they don't check it sometimes.
And I do life coaching also because some people embrace life coaching over mental health therapy, but they're almost the same. depending on the therapist or coach.
Yeah, I had to learn that the hard way. Yeah. So, well, I appreciate both of y'all for joining. Before we get into it, today our topic is perfectionism. So there was doing some research. They said there's three different types of perfectionism. There's self-oriented, which is putting extreme high standards and pressures on yourself, feeling like you always have to succeed, improve, or avoid mistakes. The second one is other-oriented perfectionism, which is having extremely high standards for other people and getting frustrated when they don't meet them. And the third one is socially prescribed perfectionism, feeling like other people expect you to be perfect and fearing judgment, rejection, or disappointing others if you mess up. Um, so I wanted to ask you both, what celebrity do you feel like is a self-oriented perfectionist?
I think Bill Burr, honestly, in the comedy sense,
Mhm.
like he has very high standards for himself, and you can see it in the way that he analyzes certain things. I think
Mhm.
probably in time he's let go of a little bit of that,
Mhm.
but definitely you can see that he's very calculated, and I think that that comes from a high amount of self pressure. Just
Got it.
the sharpness and the very articulate. Yeah.
So you say comedians in general are would probably be more self-oriented perfectionists?
I think there's like I think that you would have to look at it like a spectrum,
Mhm.
and I think you definitely have to have a little bit of all three pieces of the pie. You
Mhm.
have to have a little bit of each flavor because you have to have a high standard for yourself because like you want to go out and succeed. You have to have a standard for the audience. You want the audience to show up and laugh. It's
Mhm.
frustrating when they don't. Uh, and then from there, you don't want to let people down. So like I think you get a nice neat basket of like mental dysfunction. It's
Gotcha.
just it's how you like you can see different people shift into tears. It's the difference of a comedian being like that crowd sucked every time, and it's like mirrors. Uh, versus the people that are like I did terrible, and it's like you did great. Stop it.
Okay.
That's how I see it.
So the other one is other oriented perfectionism, which is having extremely high standards for other people and getting frustrated when they don't meet them. Brenda, what celebrity you feel like has that perfectionism?
Oh boy. Um, my mind's gonna go blank. Howie Mandel, maybe. I know he has OCD, but OCD and perfectionism kind of overlap each other.
Okay.
Yep.
Can't have one without the other sometimes.
All right. And then my next one for you, Brenda, is well, this is for both of you. Socially prescribed perfectionism, feeling like other people expect you to be perfect and fearing judgment, rejection, or disappointing others if you mess up. Do you have any celebrities you think fall under that one?
I think Will Ferrell comes to my mind.
Well, Ferrell.
Yeah, I don't. That's where I've never seen a celebrity get up and apologize for like doing not as good in a movie that they wanted to.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's kind of one of those like that. That one you got to kind of catch somebody off to the side and like know them to get that little insight where you're like, oh, this person's trying to adapt.
Okay. All right. So next, what I got for y'all, we're gonna do an advice segment. Um, I've got some Reddit stories here. I want to read to y'all. And I want to get y'all advice for the person that wrote this. Because this one was wrote 6 days ago. This is fresh. So it says perfectionism from childhood. I recently was assessed for perfectionism with a therapist and psychiatrist, and I scored pretty high. A lot of my perfectionism likely stems from childhood trauma, having emotionally immature and somewhat abusive parents. I'm curious for people with a somewhat similar background. What did you find most helpful to start addressing your perfectionism? I am starting to talk about it in therapy, which is making me more mindful of my destructive behavior. It is making me sad to see how much of a lot of my emotional struggles have been tied to perfectionism. It's nice to find a community online. So, Brenda, what advice would you give to this person right here?
Well, I definitely hear that they already admit about the childhood trauma. So maybe they were parentified at a young age. They were probably praised for being an adult like and not really able to explore their feelings or be a kid in general.
Mhm.
And maybe that perfectionism just grew with them because it became a survival. They weren't thriving, they were surviving. and
Mhm.
and if it's successful, why would you stop it? But when you get to a certain age, it's going to start crashing in to your relationships and your friendships because survival mode only works for a limited way, for a limited amount of time and for different things. But if you want long-term relationships and friendships, that's when you got to start getting to know yourself and understand where is it coming from? What are the things that were not meant in your childhood that you can unpack with a therapist?
Yeah, that's very, very true. I know one of the well, both of you artists, y'all know, one of the like false things artists believe is like you need survival mode to make it to be great. Like you need some type of struggle, and so yeah, I definitely agree with that. It will catch up to you as we've seen in many, many cases. What about you, Matt? As an unlicensed therapist, what advice would you give?
No, I'd say
Where'd the sound go?
it's similar in the sense that it's a survival tactic. You know,
Mhm.
you are using this as a survival mechanism, and those are not necessarily bad when you have to survive. But when you're in the clear, when things are good, or when things aren't that bad, when you do not need that to be in as active of a mode. Uh,
Mhm.
I've found that the perfectionist traits that like manifest in people is they stop doing something that they could fail at,
Mhm.
and that's like conversations that like an argument they might lose,
Mhm.
you know, making a piece of art that might not turn out how they want it to,
Mhm.
trying something that they're not good at. All these weird joys of life that involve you failing, which is the best way to learn, is to fail forward. Um, that gets like pushed down, and you start throwing up these shields that seem like a good idea. You
Mhm.
didn't fail at anything, so you're doing better than if you did fail at something, but you also didn't do anything.
Right.
It's kind of one of those like you've created nothing, and
Mhm.
mind you, you haven't created a failure, nor have you created a success. And I think, especially from that young, like the immature parents thing is a huge one. You know, like if you have been around friends that's parents were kind of like, you can just figure this out. You're 9, right? Like, it really shows because it's like their failure could affect their sibling.
Right.
Their failure could affect their parents. And even when they're away from that, there's that like weight. It's kind of that did I leave the stove on feeling. But
Mhm.
instead of did I leave the stove on, it's like, did I ruin my brother's life? Is this bad? Like, so I think, yeah, you have to identify it when you start actively not doing stuff for the sake of avoiding failures that don't matter.
That was deep, man.
That's that's if you're gonna fail making, grilled cheese,
Mhm.
do it. There will be more grilled cheese. You know, you do that so that you don't fail later when you need something.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate both of y'all for giving your perspective on that. I do have one other story that I want to go over about perfectionism. Um, so it says here, it says, is anyone extremely worried about finding out anything is wrong with them or their life? In my childhood, any incident would cause dramatic and catastrophic reactions from my parents. Skinned knee, equals shame on you for not being more careful. And don't you realize how this affects me? Everything was overblown. Any flaw or failure was world ending. Any childhood distress or need was unfair to them. So you learn, you hide. You learn to cry after they gone to bed. You dissociate first and foremost so your needs don't inconvenience these selfish, immature people. Today, I piece it together. Those parents don't want you to exist. Not really. Not as the actual human, not perfectionist, not codependent, not pretending, not um, you. It's too inconvenient, painful, or triggering for them. That's on them. For their lack of foresight or compassion or care, it's totally on them. All right. So, my question for both of y'all is well, for you, Brenda, how does this show up in adulthood? What this person was talking about?
Well, what the person is talking about, it sounds like maybe their parents had narcissistic tendencies that no, whatever they did, it was always a reflection of the parent, good or bad. And that's really unhealthy. And what was the question again?
How does this show up in adulthood? What they went through?
In adulthood, I would say that it would be someone that apologizes a lot, somebody that probably hooks on to you and does everything they can to please you and will overwhelm you in a relationship because they don't want to lose you because they've always had that fear growing up that they did something wrong because usually with narcissistic parents they keep changing the rules so you don't know what the rules are and that's really hard as a child and that'll come out with anxiety, possible childhood PTSD.
So you're saying people, so pretty much people pleasing and codependency. Okay. And Matt, I got to remember you're not as an unlicensed therapist.
Yeah.
What do you think this would look like in a workplace? Someone that experienced this.
So I'm a people pleaser,
Okay.
and what you start to do, which is the negative trait, is you attempt to problem solve outside your scope. Um, so what it is, you realize that you have to fix everything that is falling that you can catch,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which is like excellent training in the sense that like surviving a plane crash and climbing a mountain is excellent training.
Okay.
Is it will stretch you, it will make your critical thinking skyrocket, it will push you to a limit, and then it will incinerate your will,
Mm-hmm.
and it will wear you down, and it will make you defensive. It will make you squirrely. And it basically kind of it makes this thing where it's like you're running full speed on a razor's edge all the time in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say some workplaces see that and they're like, I know what that is. We can
Mm-hmm.
use that to push it way past its limit and extract.
Mm-hmm.
And other workplaces will be like, hey, slow down, wide open floor. You're not going to fall. Just don't, you don't have to do it anymore. You know, it's kind of one of those like put the weight down. You don't have to carry it now.
Yep.
It takes a lot to break that habit
Mm-hmm.
uh, because it is a great survival instinct. It's a defense mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, there's this weird like the world isn't going to end moment
Mm-hmm.
that you find, and I think as you get older, like ideally you would talk to someone who would help you identify this before it manifests into problematic behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's one of those like you realize who your friends are and who's worth keeping when you don't have to do everything and they're like, that's fine. You know, you realize who your family is when you can be yourself and they accept you.
Mm-hmm.
Or at work when you set limits and they're like, yeah, that's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll also find sometimes that you do have that like worst nightmare where it's just like, oh, I lost my friend because we got in a fight over something that I used to do, but I stopped dealing with it. And it's like, then they weren't your friend,
Right.
you know? Oh, like your cousin doesn't talk to you because you got in an argument about something and, you know, or you didn't do that. Well, then, you know, families who shows up at Thanksgiving. That's Has nothing to do with the document. So I think that it's a very hard thing because it's very much like being like, oh, you're so smart. It's like, oh, you're so kind and you're helpful and it's like, no, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's because those people won't take help.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, you making me feel bad now. I'm like, dang, I can't hire a perfectionist.
You can.
The problem is going to be is they're going to overtake the project because they don't want it to fail, and they're not going to allow other people to do their job, and they're going to overwhelm people.
Yeah, that is on the flip side. The other side of it though is that I can pay them minimum wage.
Yeah, that's different. That's a different animal.
But you are right. It is create a toxic environment. All jokes aside. But thank you so much both of y'all for sharing your perspective on that. All right, so we're gonna move into another segment. And the name of the segment is which perfectionist would you rather be your boss and why? So Matt, which perfectionist would you rather have as your boss? Beyonce or Gordon Ramsay?
Oh, Gordon Ramsay. The thing about Gordon Ramsay is watching Gordon Ramsay do the cooking videos where he watches like kids cook, and he's watching like people try and fail where he's like, oh, you almost had it, like, oh, he's right there, like he's gonna do it next time. That attitude, like I've just seen him do that. I don't know that I've seen Beyonce like watch someone almost do something, fail, and be like, they're gonna get it next time. And it's just I've seen that more.
Okay. What about you, Brenda?
Well, I think you've made a good point. Gordon Ramsay, when he is calm and helping people through things, he's a great person. But on the show, of course, they need ratings, and the yelling and the screaming, I can't handle. I shut down when it's that kind of environment.
That's my wheelhouse. I've definitely I've been in altercations with paperwork where it's just like that argument got out of hand, and then into hand. And I'm happy I'm not in that anymore.
Yeah.
For the record, this is a shitty environment, but it's very much like I worked in retail with the public for 20 years, and it's like I've been shouted at. I've been told to F myself, for 20 years to my face daily.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're just like, okay, like, what are you going to do? Fight me? And sometimes they do.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I would say myself, I definitely wouldn't want to have Gordon Ramsay as my boss. However, I love watching him. It's entertaining. So I get it. So my next one is for you, Brenda. Which perfections would you rather would you rather train you to be successful? Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan?
Oh boy, they're both legends. I think more Michael Jordan because he seems to have the reputation of persistence, that success doesn't happen overnight, and that you got to keep at it.
Okay. And what about you, Matt?
I'm 50-50. Like, I think Kobe Bryant had a little bit more of a he had a faster entry in, but it's just like I don't necessarily have a bad track record of him, so I'm gonna play this kind of as like the demon I don't know, because I know Michael Jordan, he's an aggressive dude. Like, he's a very aggressive, competitive person, and he definitely has his moments in the zeitgeist.
Okay. And we got Lux in the chat. She says Kobe. She would prefer to be trained by Kobe. Me personally, I picked Michael Jordan just because I'm trying to get some free shoes. But if it wasn't,
He'll never give them to you.
Yeah. If
I don't get every free throw,
I'm definitely going with Kobe then. All right. So my next one is which perfectionist would be the worst roommate, Martha Stewart or Kanye West?
I don't think putting Kanye on this. Can we say Kanye before? Like, can we say Kanye 6 years ago?
Okay.
If that was the case, I think Kanye 6, maybe even 10 years ago, I'd be like, okay, like I could probably live with this guy. Today, I'd go live with Martha Stewart right now. I'd be like, that's fine. Like you seem like I won't burn the roast, you know.
Right. And what about you, Brenda?
I think I would go with Martha Stewart just because she cooks.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. You were so right.
And she could give me some life skills. But Kanye would be fun.
Yeah.
But maybe
Yeah.
too much fun at my age.
10 years ago, Kanye would be fun. Today, you'd be like, oh, you can't say that. We're gonna lose the house. Like, put all these signs in the yard because I'm gonna have to take it down again. You got to stop doing that. You got neighbors.
Yeah. As a fat boy, I'm definitely gonna have to pick Martha myself as well. And then my last one would be, which perfectionist would you rather work on a creative project with? Steve Jobs or Kanye West?
Kanye West.
Same.
Wow, that's interesting. Y'all picking Kanye over iPhone?
Yeah. Steve Jobs is a narcissistic, psychopathic lunatic.
Mm.
Like, and technically, I don't think he actually invented anything. He paid people to invent. Now, you could argue Kanye sampled a lot of music, but he also then redid it, put lyrics. He built that. Like, you know, that's just kind of one of those seeing the person for the person. Kanye's crazy. Steve Jobs is crazy. Well, was.
All right, and I just want to shout out real quick, Snowman in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. Brenda, which one? Who would you pick?
I think I would still go with Kanye over Steve Jobs. I just am not into white privilege.
Okay, all right. All right, so we're gonna move on here to our next segment, which is called Perfectionist or Nah. So I have some scenarios here, and I want y'all to tell me if this is being a perfectionist or not, or nah. We say nah. So, one, Brenda, rewriting a text message 6 times before sending it.
Yes.
You say that is a perfectionist?
I would think so.
All right, and Matt, do you agree or disagree with that?
I'm gonna play context on this one. I've written text, looked at it, and been like, tone. Like, I have to make a political choice on this. This has to cut a different way.
Okay.
Throw some flowery ass adjectives in there.
Mm-hmm.
I would say context. Rewriting 50% of yours 6 times, yes. Rewriting a couple.
So it depends on what it was. I got.
Yeah. I'm gonna say context.
Okay. Matt, so what about this one? Not starting a project because you know it won't come out exactly how you pictured it. Is that perfectionist or not?
Perfectionist.
All right. And Brenda, do you agree or disagree?
Oh, I agree. And it also could be ADHD.
For real?
Yeah, because if they can't do it right, just F it, you know.
I would, you know what's crazy? I would think it's self-awareness because, I think some people just need to quit in life. Like, I know some people, some people be like, hey,
I could rewrite that 6 times real quick, get it out different.
Oh, man. All right, so my next one is Brenda, cleaning your house before the cleaning person comes over. Is that perfectionist or not?
I sometimes think that's personal image. I don't want a cleaning person to know how dirty I am. But it could fall under perfectionism.
Matt, what about you?
Yeah, that one cuts is like, I would do that because I don't want them to have to clean more. I would feel bad if there was just like, you could have done this, dude, and I'm like standing there like playing Xbox. Sorry. Like,
really?
I'd feel so bad someone coming in and cleaning my house and finding that dumb mess that I could have just straightened up. That's on me.
Wow. Okay. I'm okay. I get it. Like, I see where y'all coming from, but at the same time, it's like, yo, I'm paying you. Like, I don't know. I got a high level of shame. Like, I don't care if you see my dirty drawers. Like, this $200 will get you through.
Dusting is on you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm paying. I'm paying you to dust.
Yeah, true, true.
Yeah. The pile of mail, that's on me. I messed that. That's my fault.
Well, and if you want a deeper clean, you can't have a bunch of stuff in the way too. You know, if you want to get your dollar's worth.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, so Brenda,
I'm surrounded by stuff. I'm just a hoarder with shelves.
Brenda. So, perfectionist or not, restarting a journal because one page handwriting looked bad.
I definitely think that would be perfectionist because that's not what a journal's supposed to be.
And do you agree or disagree, Matt?
Yeah, I'd say it's that, or I might honestly, and this is one of those like, if you're worried about the handwriting being bad, then you're worried about it being bad because you think someone's going to look at it and then use that page as an example against you. And I would lean that almost into like the sociopath,
Oh,
like
wow.
an indicator like psychopath, where it's just like, yeah, that's supposed to be a private journal, but you know that someone's going to look at it, so you have an intent of planting it.
Or you have a nosy significant other that you can't trust.
Yeah, but if your significant other's like the handwriting on that last journal page is all over the place, it's just like, okay, talk.
Spelled that wrong.
Yeah. But if you're like writing one and you're like, this doesn't look like it matches the others, I'll restart. So when I leave it on the coffee table and they come over and they're looking at it, and it's like, that is a image manipulation from a sociopath trying to generate an image of themselves.
Mm. All right, you're giving me the spooks. I'm gonna sleep with the light on tonight. Last one for you, Matt. Spending 45 minutes editing a caption that nobody is probably going to fully read anyway. Perfectionist or nah?
I would say, yeah. I think that's the cornerstone of my like anti-perfectionist like push is like, just do it. You know, if you're sitting there and you're like, I'm not gonna do this because I don't think it's as funny as it could be, then you lost. You lost your fight before you got in the ring.
Gotcha. And what about you, Brenda? Do you agree or disagree?
Great. I mean, that's a lot of overthinking on top of that. A lot of anxiety.
Yeah, very, very much so. All right. So our next segment, we're going to resources. For perfectionism, Brenda, as a licensed therapist, what resources would you say people can use to help them out with perfectionism?
I definitely like the app like Headspace. You can use it for free for a little while. And if you don't pay for the membership right away, they'll send you offers and discounts.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
We can
And
get back on Headspace.
you can always reach out to them too. Dr. Daniel Ammon, he's one of my favorites that I follow. He talks about brain health and how it affects everything, to include perfectionism and unmet needs. Always going to therapy is great. You don't have to go to therapy because it's your last resort. You know, you could go to therapy to help your mental health, you know, take a mental health break before you break your mental health. Because as therapists, we would treasure people just coming just because they want to work on themselves, not necessarily that they have something wrong. They just want to have a newer version of seeing the world and interacting with it and feeling better for themselves. But not always do we get that.
Absolutely. We talk about this every week here on Reflect and Grow, that your mental health is like your diet, or if you were to have something like diabetes, you got to maintain it, keep working on it. It's, you don't wait, like you said, don't wait till survival mode, and you just you absolutely just need it. Something that you got to keep working on. So yes, we talk about that every week. Matt, as an unlicensed therapist, that is a comedian.
Yeah.
What resources would you tell for perfectionists?
Therapy. I would say probably you should talk to a therapist.
Uh,
And this is another one is like, it's risky advice, which is why I'm hesitant to say it, but like close friends. The thing is like, to me, a close friend is someone who will be like, hey, you got to go to therapy now.
mm-hmm.
Like that problem's past me. That's a thing you got to work on yourself on. And I don't know if you or I can do it. Like, we need to get a professional in. Because some, like, your friends who know you very well, that actually have your best interests. Friends, people who show up to do bullshit with you. You know, not acquaintances that want to do something that anyone wants to do with you. Like a friend is someone who's going to go dig up a sewer line in your backyard for 6 hours, no pay. That person will be like, you got to talk to somebody. Or they might point out and say, like, I've been talking to someone, this feels like this, you should go talk to someone. So I think there's honest checks. You could also vent your problem to strangers you're only going to see for a few seconds. That's a great tactic. 2 ships in the night, it's just 2 adults in an elevator, and you're just like, this is what's happening in my life. Why would you do it? I tend to look towards older black men. They usually shoot pretty straight. They'll be like, you fucked up. And I'm like, I thought, yeah, I know I did. I know I did.
Now you're going to make me think of my grandpa Sal from Sicily. Worst advice ever, you know?
Yeah, well, no, but that's your grandpa. That's someone who knows you.
Yeah.
You gotta talk to a total stranger who has no investment in your outcome, and they're just throwing chips at the table. They're putting money on roulette, and they're like, you messed up.
And you'll never see
like,
them
no,
again.
you're good. They're like, I heard what you said. You're in the right. They messed up. You're straight. How's it working for you? You ever have a barber be like, how's it working for you? Your bartender says, how's it working for you? And then you're like, bad. And they're like, I can't, you know, they don't have the key to your cage, but they can tell you that that's not the right one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo. Thank you, Matt. In the chat, Luck says therapy is unbiased. That's why I love it. Yes, that's one of the reasons why I love therapy. Because a lot of times, you know, I agree with Matt. Sometimes you just can go to a friend event. You know, you might not have that copay this week, right? But a lot of times I found is when you go to people, sometimes people will project, you know, what they got going on and not necessarily give you the best advice that is for you. Is what they experience or what they might be going through, or they might have some ulterior motive. So therapy is definitely that place where it's supposed to be for you. Make anything supposed to be better for you. So I definitely agree with that. All right.
Friends might be sharing some of your mental health issues. That's why you are drawn to each other. You know, misery loves company kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have anything else to add to that, Brenda?
Well, I liked what she said. Therapy is unbiased. And I will add, if you don't feel you have a good fit with the therapist, find another one. A true therapist wants you to do that, because I don't want to waste your time if you don't feel comfortable with me. Maybe I'm too casual or too silly. And, you know, not everybody likes the Brenda, but you're doing yourself a disservice if you keep with a therapist that you're not opening up to or feeling comfortable with. You're wasting their time, and especially yours.
Yeah, yeah. It's so crazy. I wish people told me that when I first started going to therapy, because it was like I tried to just stay with somebody as long as I went, and then when I started experiencing other therapists, I was like, oh, this is almost like comedy. Like you get your favorite comedian, you like there's different styles. Therapy is almost like that. So yeah, check out different therapists. Read their bios, and how many sessions would you say do with the therapist? Because I was told 3, but it might be you might give different advice to see if it's a good fit.
It depends on what insurance you have. It is a sad reality, but I work for cash, so I'll see someone for 2 years if they want. You know.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Did you say I work for Cash Money?
Yeah. I work for Venmo.
I also work for cash, and you can talk to me about pretty much anything. You can say the weird stuff. No bias.
For insurance companies.
Yeah, I don't take insurance. I can make copies of them and Photoshop them, make one look real.
Oh my god!
That's also for cash. I'll do that for cash too.
Look,
you give me cash for a lot of things. I'll give you more or less problems, however you want it to happen.
Yo, bro, I was really about to Google what is cash. I'm sorry, that had me going. All right,
is that a generational thing?
it. I'm sitting on cash right now, and I'm literally like, I don't know what to do with you. Like, I can't put you in my phone to pay the bills that keep racking up. I'm gonna have to go in the store, and then that's gonna trigger some kind of weird endorphin thing where I'm like, I could get some, and then I gotta leave.
That's funny. Oh man, that's hilarious.
To thine own self.
I guess the other name would be self-pay, if that.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Now I understand that.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
That's what I call it when I'm trying to look licensed.
Yeah. Oh
I take
man.
self pay.
Yeah. Self pay. Self
You
pay.
dug a hole in my yard. Self pay. I don't take any.
Oh my god. All right. So, before we get out of here, I do have one resource source that I also was told that you can do for perfectionism is a journaling. A journal prop would be to write down what will be good enough today instead of perfect. So that's something that you could do on your own, but just writing down, because we the journal gang over here. Um, and next, all right. So next, what we got is affirmations for perfectionism. I got three affirmations. So our affirmation for perfectionism is done is better than perfect, and progress still counts. Our second one is my worth is not based on performance, and then the third one is mistakes are part of growth, not proof of failure. So definitely, if you're dealing with some perfectionism, these are some affirmations that you can say to yourself and validate yourself as you are working through that on your healing journey. Before we get out of here today, I want to thank both of y'all for coming. Matt, did you have anything that you wanted to promote before we get out of here?
You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook at Farking Comedy, YouTube. I'm Farking Right, and then also I'm on Twitch every now and then. It's fine. You don't no. I still do it. Nobody watches it. Perfectionism. Take the L. Um, but yeah, that's mainly what I'm doing. If for some reason you're in the Akron, Cleveland, Canton area, May 29th, I'm going to be at the Canton Oracle, so that'll be a good show.
Yeah, and in August, me and Matt will be in what is it, Lexington, Kentucky, August 21st, and then August 22nd, Canton, Ohio. So come check us both out. We hitting the road in August if you want to see some stand up comedy. Me and Matt will be together. And Brenda, did you have anything that you want to promote?
Next month, I'll be in West Virginia. One of my comedy friends is launching a nonprofit. I was looking up the name of it. It's United by Comedy Foundation, and I'm going to be performing there. But I also have Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. If anybody wants to reach out to me, be it comedy or mental health, I'm always willing to talk to people. And I do have a nonprofit that we talk about veteran mental health and service dogs. That's my passion. I really think mental health is more like getting the user manual for the first time on how to live and not survive it and just stay in survival mode.
I like that user manual. I'm using that next week. We bring that one back. I love that user manual. Okay. Well, I appreciate both of y'all for joining us, man. Thank you so much. I hope y'all enjoy y'all Monday evening.
Thank you. Nice to meet you
Hey,
guys.
thanks for having me.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, y'all. So this was another episode of Reflect and Grow. We do this every Monday night, TikTok live, 10 p.m. And then we drop the recorded episode on Thursdays, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. So make sure you tune in for that. Other than that, we will be back next Monday at 10 p.m. So peace out, y'all. Have a good night.